When my son came home after the accident, he barely spoke. Months of therapy hadn't worked. The only thing that broke through that wall was Storm, a gentle gray gelding with patient eyes. That horse carried him back to life, one slow lap around our pasture at a time. And then, one night, everything changed. I heard the shot just after midnight. It came from the far fence line, near the lake. By the time I grabbed my rifle and got outside, I saw Storm lying in the grass. Blood, steam rising from his flank in the cold. And on the other side of the fence, 3 men running toward the HOA side of the lake, flashlights swinging. We got Storm up barely. My son, in shock, stood frozen as we loaded him into the trailer and sped to the vet. The bullet had missed his heart by inches. The vet said if we'd been 5 minutes later, he would have died. I stayed with my boy until the sedatives knocked Storm out. Then I stepped outside, into the rain, and called the sheriff. Deputies found the shell casing in my pasture. Ballistics tied the round to one of Karen's hired enforcers, guys she'd been using to harass anyone who refused to join her HOA. This wasn't an accident. This was a message. That was the last straw. The next morning, I started hunting. Not with a gun. With records. I dug into county permits, easements, tax records. Every one of those thugs, and Karen herself, had been leaning on illegal structures, bogus permits, and a trail of fines they thought no one would ever enforce. And I started with the ringleader. The first one owned a boat slip on my side of the lake. By noon the next day, his lease was revoked. His boat, chained by the county. The second one operated a landscaping business that stored equipment in a shed built partially on my property. I called zoning. That shed came down by sunset. Every piece of equipment hauled off by the city. And the third? He lived in one of the HOA's exclusive houses, but it turned out his mortgage and HOA dues were in default. I bought the lien, and within 48 hours, the locks were changed. Each move was legal. Each move cut them off at the knees. And when Karen herself showed up at my gate, screaming, "You can't do this to us," I stepped out with a copy of the sheriff's report. "You sent your men to shoot at a therapy horse. You traumatized my boy. You made this personal." Her voice cracked. "It was just to scare you. You nearly killed him," I said. "And now you're done." I handed her an envelope, a permanent restraining order, signed by the judge that morning. 2 weeks later, Storm came home, stitches in his side. The first time my son climbed back in the saddle, he looked at me with tears in his eyes and whispered, "It's okay, Dad. He's not afraid anymore, and neither am I." The HOA is in chaos now. The thugs are gone. Karen's grip on the lake has shattered. Storm limps a little when he walks, but he's alive. And as long as he breathes, no one on this lake will ever harm what's ours again. I didn't pull a trigger, but I made sure they all felt the weight of justice one by one.